Nerdsplaining podcast. I'm your host, Eric Da Silva. With me, as always, my co-host, Jose Romero.
Greetings and salutations. Happy Nerd Day. Happy Nerd Week. Another day of greatness. I'm exaggerating, of course, but it's a good month. It's been a good month for nerds, and it continues with The Flash this weekend, which you and I will be speaking about that in detail towards the end of the show, because obviously we had a quick reaction. We haven't really taken a deep dive into a full review, if you will, and spoilers, of course. So keep that in mind. But
Tons of spoilers.
Yeah, tons of spoilers, no doubt. We'll talk about we'll break it all down, all that, as we wind down June, the great month of June. What do we got left in June? Indiana Jones, and I think that closes it out, if I'm not mistaken.
We're gonna wrap up the month with the possible ending of a saga, of a movie legacy, possibly. I don't know if there's ever gonna be a new Indiana Jones in this mythology. Who knows? We haven't seen the movie, but it might be a thing.
The reviews are still mixed. They screened it yesterday in LA, so that hadn't changed from the reactions from the Cannes Festival. So I'm like, okay.
I heard a little bit of like the Cannes people were overly critical. It's actually a really fun movie, and I was like, okay, well, maybe that's a possible save.
That's what I would have thought initially, but the reviews yesterday were just as bad.
Really?
Okay. Someone called this great, it's fun, and another guy said what do you say? It's garbage. I mean, it's like it's so one extreme to the other. It's crazy, the reaction. You
mean in America we have extreme reactions to basic things? I don't believe it.
Yeah, go figure. Right? Right now, and this is with the. Now it's more reviews coming. It's at 56. It's not great.
It's not great.
Not a great reaction. I'm saying some people do like it though, but some people are hating it. They're all over the place. I don't know. Whatever. I'm gonna see it in a couple weeks. In the next week. But nonetheless, let's get into some nerd stuff. There's a lot of interesting stories out there. A lot of small nuggets. So let's kind of get into that now for a second. And I'm actually, let me correct it real quick. Let's start with DC. We got one little DC stuff before we're going to start and end it with DC. We did Marvel last week, I think.
Right.
So we got James Gunn. James Gunn is very active, very talkative, which is good, right? Keeps the fans informed.
The guy likes to gab about the good stuff. So
he does, yeah. He was in a podcast recently. He talked about, Peacemaker is going to move forward. Peacemaker 2 on Max, stupid name. And he's going to begin that once he finishes with Superman, of course. That's his next project. So he's going to helm it, which is great news. But that's not the big thing. I think we knew Peacemaker 2 was going to be part of the equation. I don't think that's a surprise.
Sure.
But they talk about Blue Beetle, where he, mentioned that Blue Beetle is the actual first DCU character, while Superman Legacy is the first DCU movie. So basically, the first film under his regime is obviously Superman Legacy. We know that.
Right.
Blue Beetle apparently will be part of the DCU. This version of Blue Beetle. I
can tell you one comic book collector who's super happy to hear that.
Yeah, you should be very excited.
So
prices
I'm excited to hear that.
Real estate has gone up for those Blue Beetle owners. But yeah, it's interesting because so now I guess basically saying the character itself is going to continue. I mean, some of the stuff in the film may not carry over, may not be canon or whatever. I mean, I doubt they're going to do another origin story moving forward. But, same character. And that's interesting because now it kind of gets me a little bit more hopeful and excited for Blue Beetle. Knowing that character is going to continue. It's not a lame duck film. We thought it may be. We weren't sure. And obviously,
it's not Shazam.
Right. It shows confidence in the film, I think. Right? Because, if it would have been shit, I'm sure he's seen it already. Why would he want to keep that version of the character going, right?
Like I said, it's not Shazam because Shazam was like, we'll see if it belongs. But he's straight up saying, oh, Blue Beetle is part of it.
Right. He came out and said it. It's confirmed. So, I mean, that's interesting. I kind of like that. I mean, it gets me more excited. I don't think Blue Beetle's going to be a great movie. I really don't. Maybe it is. I don't know. I hope I'm wrong. I really do.
I think it's going to be Shazam 1 good.
Which is really good. Which I'm fine with. I'm totally fine with, right? That's the bar, right? It doesn't have to be the greatest thing ever. Not everyone wants to be the greatest thing we've ever seen, right?
Shazam 1 good is a great place to start.
It's a great place to start, and that's a good launching point for a character, which we're going to see again. So, again, it's showing confidence in the film, I think. I mean, initially when it was just supposed to be Max Direct to Max on streaming, they changed gears and wanted to move it theatrically. So that shows confidence in James Gunn standing behind it. So yeah, that's good. So I'm very curious about this film. I want this to be good. I really do. Carry some momentum, right? DC's kind of well, Flash should turn things around, but with Blue Beetle, Aquaman, we've heard our
a lot of
opinions and not great opinions on that. That could change, obviously, but that's a lame duck as far as that's a lame duck film.
Yeah,
we know that.
We only because there's so much buzz about him doing Lobo that it kind of feels like it's very much like we're just gonna get this over with because we already put so much money into it and it's already done. So
Yeah, exactly. So I'll be surprised. I mean, I don't think we're gonna get that moving forward, but at least Blue Beetle is something to look forward to. And okay, interesting. So I like that. So James Gunn, he's got a big mouth, and I love it.
It's good for people like us to talk about it.
It is good, man.
Yeah.
He's dropping these nuggets, man. Hey, man, more power to him. Let's go to Disney because it's all Disney stuff here. And let me see where I start here. Let's start with this because this is not neither good or bad. Kind of get us a good little appetizer, if you will. So Star Wars, right? The Disney announces a lot of stuff, and we'll focus on Star Wars now, where I guess they gave us some clarity in terms of movie release dates and slots.
Okay.
Because they announced, we knew that. I think they announced the only thing I think was really confirmed was the James Mangold thing, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Right. Well, they think that was confirmed.
I think that one's confirmed. That one's confirmed,
right.
I believe. It's going to be confirmed. He'll be out of the project in about 2 or 3 months, so we'll get to that later. I think they're Daisy Ridley, right? One or something.
Right. It's the Daisy Ridley. 15 years after Rise of Skywalker. Right. It's the James Mangold, and then it's the Mandalorian.
The Mandalorian was the only they announced. Right?
Those are the only 3 that they announced.
Okay, so they said one's on 2025. They didn't specify which. I don't think anyway comes out in 2025.
Not even the Mandalorian.
Well, I don't know because I mean maybe, but with the writer's strike and nothing's gonna get done apparently.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, they'll have to start filming realistically, and they got time probably towards the middle of next year, I would think, to get it released in 2025. They didn't specify what month, so I don't know if it's towards the end maybe. But Avatar is getting released there, so no one wants to compete with that behemoth. So whatever that's worth. But the surprising news, they're releasing 2 films, at least for now. This may change in 2026, which is surprising because I remember we got in 2 films, Star Wars, in 1 year. Maybe we did. Am I wrong? I don't know.
I think Force Awakens and Rogue One.
Was that the same year? I don't see. I don't remember.
That may have been. I'm not 100% sure. At least they were at least 6 months apart. I know that.
I know there wasn't a whole lot of time in between releases, but they got 2 movies coming out, so that's kind of surprising. I'm going to assume it's a Daisy Ridley one. I'm assuming that, and the James Mangold one, until we're told that he's off the project.
You heard it here first, folks.
We heard it here. I don't know what to say. Looking at that discussion. No, actually, you know what? There was never been 2 in 1 year.
Oh, well, all right.
There was a year between Force Awakens and Rogue in terms of 2015, 16, 17, Last Jedi, 18 was Solo, and then 19 was Last Skywalker. So that still puts us at least, again, 6 years, almost 7 years potentially since the last Star Wars film. It's a long fucking time. It really is. So, I mean, I don't know. Should we be excited, honestly?
No.
I mean,
I wish we got excited, but also the excitement we've had recently has proven very disappointing. I mean, we just look at, like, once again, haven't seen it yet, but just the reaction to the new indie is being disappointing. Quantumania, it's you either like it or
Marvel.
You don't.
To be fair, that's Marvel, but
No, I think Marvel's more excitement. The over under Marvel's is excitement. Quantumania was a disappointment.
But Star Wars is in a different league in terms of what's.
Oh, it should be.
In terms of where it's at, right? Sort of with the fans. We talked about how time it's frustrating with Star Wars. I mean, listen, I'm still waiting for the bomb with Kathleen Kennedy, which I talked about here last year at some point, and there was other stories confirming what I had known. That's the only thing that could really get me excited.
So here's the idea about that. With the prospect of indie not being good, does that automatically cancel all the Kathleen Kennedy announced projects? Well, because they'll have to get a new person in?
I don't know. Maybe these projects, they may have someone in mind. If she is indeed out, right? Which is everything. All signs point she's out. I think they've already had a discussion with whoever's taking her place. They already know that already, right? If she's out, they know it's there. And I'm sure the planning has gone through that new individual. I'm thinking.
Well, because that's the thing. We don't know if Indy bombs. Yes. If Indy miraculously kills it, then no. But it's almost like when Disney was getting ready to buy Fox started approving all these X-Men movies to be made, even though they knew it wasn't going to go to these wasn't show what they were working on. Yeah. I kind of feel like these 3 movies were Kathleen Kennedy's last ditch effort of like, you can't fire me. Look at all these movies I'm about to make.
I don't know. Well, if she's relying on Indiana Jones, they're gonna be disappointed because I think that one's projected thus far at a 60 million opening. That's not that good for an indie movie. That's a lot lower than Crystal Skull. You know,
Crystal Skull did a lot of damage.
Right. So, you know what I'm saying? So now you're doing less than the movie that came out, 2008 or 9? So, you know, inflation. So now it's doing even worse, technically speaking. So right. It's not projecting very well. And then these reviews aren't helping the situation. So I don't know. It looks grim. But if this is indeed... Which is why I think this is all tentative, because let's assume you're right, and these are her movies, her plan, right? 2026.
Right.
If she's out, when she's out, that all goes out the window. I'm thinking. Which is why we go back to James Mangold. I mean, it's either that or, like I said, someone who's stepping into that role already knows what's going on and has been planning already during this time, right? I know that they wanted to save the announcement for Kathleen Kennedy until after all the promotion stuff for Indiana Jones. That was the plan. That's what I heard. So, and other stories kind of confirm the same thing. So it should be soon, or soon enough anyway. So let's see. But whatever. Interesting nonetheless. Not as good as Marvel. And we'll start with some bad stuff. I gotta tell you, there's a lot of I love the solidarity, the unity amongst the actors and involved in the MCU. You know, we had Jonathan Majors. Poor guy's out there, you know, pending whatever issues he had with his assault, and you don't want to leave a man in an island. So
sure.
Luckily for Majors, Tinoch Huerta jumped in to stand by his side with some sexual allegations against him of his own, apparently. MCU, they're just not catching a break. I swear to
God. Luckily, everyone that's having legal problems is technically a bad guy.
They're living up to the moniker.
So, that's the only, these people are really taking their character traits to heart.
Apparently,
I'm going to disrespect personal spaces.
Oh man, too much namor. Mr. Huerta, apparently.
What happened with the girl?
So this is So I guess, I mean, you know, he came out and he denied it. Of course, what is he gonna say? Did it?
Right.
Listen, and to be fair, we don't know what's gonna happen, right? Is his ex-girlfriend or something like that accused them of some sexual inappropriateness or whatever? But it's just, man, MCU's becoming a mess right now, dude. And I'm not saying it's all their fault. This isn't their fault, right? But Jesus, dude, this is DC level shit with what's going on with the movies and these actors. It's a mess, dude. They're making Kathleen Kennedy look great at this point.
So you need a Huerta and a Majors to equal an Ezra.
Exactly, right? All of a sudden, he's just skating by, right? He's who? I mean, it's just like, I don't know. I guess the MCU wanted their own attention, but yeah, it's just, man.
Because if you think about it, it's physical and sexual, which is both things that Ezra was accused for. So it takes 2 Marvel actors to commit the crime.
That's what DC's in their level right now. They can do the one guy with MCU can't. They need 2 guys to match that.
White privilege.
It's just damn. It doesn't. Us brown folks, man, we suck, dude. We can't get it right, not even that. So this sucks. I mean, listen, this key could be innocent, and so could Majors, but just this shit that comes up is just like, I mean, I don't know what kind of plans they have for Namor's character anyway. I know the Majors thing's a bigger deal. We'll definitely talk about that in a little bit.
Well, Namor is supposed to connect, obviously, with not only the Fantastic Four, because he has a a crush relationship, a forbidden love with Invisible Woman, but Namor is also part of the Illuminati. So there's two big factors for Namor to be in.
I mean, so now it's like he may be part of any of them, or he gets recast. I don't know. It's odd. I don't know. I feel bad for the guy. He could very well be innocent. You know how it is.
Yeah.
Hell hath no fury. You know, let's be fair. Right?
Exactly.
So he had the first guy to get falsely accused.
But we don't. You know, but until we know for sure, we can only speculate or wait until more information comes out.
But it's out there, so that another wrench, monkey wrench that's thrown in there, right? Besides the majors thing, and it is what it is. So,
right.
But that said, let's move on to someone who has no issues as of this moment, and that is Mr. Tom Holland, who. He's another guy. He's James Gunn-esque. He has a big mouth.
Big mouth.
And we love it, right? But so he was interviewing him, and he talked about the Spider-Man 4, and then sat down and planned out, starting the planning phases of the next Spider-Man or whatever. He's very happy with all that, which, what's he going to say? It sucks. I know he has concerns because, he liked what they did with the previous 3 films, and that's a lot of pressure, all that other stuff.
I mean, as far as trilogies go, it's a pretty great trilogy.
It's a good trilogy. I won't say it's great, but it's really good. But he did talk about, he almost kept alluding to it. I don't have the exact wording, but talking about him passing the baton. So he's kind of making it seem that this may be his last run at being this versions of Spider-Man.
Well, after 6 movies, which is they want to do another 3, so it'll be a total of 6 or 8 because you count the Avengers. Yeah. I mean, listen, you've put in the work and you've made it worth the while. So I mean, if there's ever a way to tee up a Miles Morales live action, this is the run to do it.
Right. This is the time for Sony maybe to capitalize on Spider-Verse and things like that. Potentially, right? Obviously, because you're not going to see this movie for a couple of years, obviously. At least 2026 at the earliest, so it gives them time to whatever. Maybe we got what's this one? Craven the Hunter. Maybe that's good. Whatever. It's maybe this. You're saying there's a chance, right? And they got I think the Madam Web.
Madam Web, right?
As well. So who knows if those hit? Okay, fine. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, just out of curiosity, I mean, anyone out there that you can think of who could take his place, be the next Spider-Man?
Ooh.
I just
the next Spider-Man.
That's tough one because you probably want somebody young or young.
Yeah, you need you. Right? Well,
obviously.
If they're going to continue the legacy, you need someone at least college level age to do it. Because
excuse me, that's fair. I mean, yeah, I don't think they're going to start over. God, I definitely don't want to. Let's assume this is last Spider-Man or whatever. They close that. I don't want to see a new.
James Bond him. Like just
thank you. Right. That's not another origin story or we're done with that, right? So yeah, right. I think. I mean, yeah, I guess in that different time, they get different. Like Carnage will be interesting. I mean, I don't think the comics, continued on with this
Peter
beyond, right?
Look,
obviously,
Marvel learned the hard way. They aged Peter out of high school way too fast in the original, and they kept him in college for way too long.
Maybe
so,
he failed his classes, dude. Freshman stuff, man.
He's too busy being Spider-Man. He couldn't graduate. That's exactly what happened.
He's busy, saving a neighborhood. So, come on.
I honestly don't know. I would have to be. My jerky response would be, well, I don't know what show on Disney Channel are they about to end the series on and get one of those kids who's about to age out.
Well, maybe I don't know. I don't watch.
Like I can't think of anybody right now. Once again, a bull crappy answer would be like Timothy Oliphant, not Timothy Oliphant.
No, that's not that. No way.
I mean, not Oliphant. The kid is in Dune.
Right, that's Timothy. No, that. Oh my God. No, I'm sorry. You're right.
Yeah, Oliphant. It was from Mandalorian and Justified. Timothy Chalamet.
Chalamet. There we go. It was Chalamet, a Timothy. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, another Timothy, but Chalamet would be too old. He's about that age, I think he's gonna be too big to do Spider-Man anyway. You want to get somebody who's like mid-level to take up and keep going. That's what you want to do.
My answer: bring in the Rock, dude. Let's do this.
You know what? I'll tell you what. Finn Wolfhard from Stranger Things. He'll be old enough to be a young Peter Parker, like about to graduate year 1 of college, if that's what you're gonna station him at. That's it.
That's not bad. So that's interesting. So yeah, Tom Holland, this could be his last. We'll see. Sometimes
Right.
they back up the truck, the Brinks truck, and you know how that goes. Sometimes it's hard to turn down. Like, this will be what is, like you said, what
Here's
eight, whatever, how many appearances it is.
here. Here's what I do.
Look at
You know,
20 minute
what's,
picture, maybe.
you know what
25.
storyline? You know what storyline you do as you do Venom for like the first two are Venom, right?
Mm-hmm.
The last one you do the Clone Saga, and you introduce whoever's gonna be the replacement Peter as like actually you're the clone and I'm the real Spider-Man, and from there you get to send Tom Holland off as Ben Reilly.
Okay, I got
And
you.
you have the new guy coming as Peter. That's what I would do. That's what I would.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious if this really happened. I'm sure he's thinking about not doing this any further. These movies take a lot of toll, right? He's young and he still wants to do other things. And when you do a Marvel film, you're committed for a while. You know, 3 or 4 movies. Those movies take a long time to film, so I get it. I really do.
And if you're wondering the Ben Reilly character, guys, when you watch Into the Spider-Verse, it's the one that Andy Samberg's doing with the red suit and the blue hoodie. That's Ben Reilly. So you make, which would be a great send-off, which is you make Tom Holland Ben Reilly, and Phil Wolfhard becomes the new Peter Parker. Oh, that's it. I just saved the day. You're welcome, Marvel.
There you go.
I know there's a writer's strike, but I did it. I'm sorry.
Damn writer's strike. God. Speaking of writer's strike, having effects across the board, not just Marvel, talking about Marvel, but DC also was affected because they suspended production on the Penguin, but Daredevil now suspended production. Bless you, suspended indefinitely its production.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's because of the writer's strike, and I think they were actually picketing in some of the locations they were shooting at, from what I heard at first, for Daredevil anyway. So that caused some delays, but now with the writer's strike, so yeah, so. I forget when this was supposed to come out.
I think it was supposed to come out next year.
Early next
2024.
year. This is gonna cause some delays. I don't know how long, because it's been what, two months already.
Something.
A month. I don't know. It's been a while. So yeah. Well, and actually, interesting enough, SAG, of course, the Screen Actors Guild, they have until the end of this month to get a deal. They can go on strike as well, which will be a disaster.
Sure.
At that point, but I think the directors got a deal last week, so I think the actors will probably get a deal next, and then the writers will probably follow afterwards. But yeah, so more delays on Daredevil, so which sucks, is I was so looking forward to seeing watered down, Daredevil.
Oh, stop
and
it.
ridiculous
We don't know.
third world country
Look,
Kingpin.
The only good thing is
my
that
God, with this Hawaiian shirt, he's hanging out with Magnum PI in Hawaii.
Now. It could be great. It could be great, or at least really good.
Kingpin
it could
Moana,
be really good.
Hanging out down there. Come on, bro, stop. It's so bad.
It could be really good. Maybe not great. Maybe not as great as those first 3 seasons, but it could be really good.
Yeah, so good, Kraven the Hunter.
No, there's no good Kraven the Hunter. No good.
But let's stay on delays, because obviously we got I guess they reshuffled the schedule. Big time for MCU, which we can talk in details in a second. But so they made all kinds of announcements as far as Deadpool moving up, other movies moving out over a year delays. That's some big changes here, and I have the schedule up here. So Deadpool was slated for November 2024. Now it's May 3rd, because that one's actually being filmed. Right, they have finished writing. I know there's issues with this whole Ryan Reynolds, and if you get improvise or not, that counts. I don't know, whatever it is. I don't know the minutia of that, but nonetheless, that film is being filmed, so that's coming out earlier, which is bumping now Captain America: Brave New World from May to July. Not a huge deal. And then Thunderbolts is going to be in July. Now that's in December, so we're still getting three movies then. Blade, which was announced back in 2018, mind you. Think about that. It's been a long time. That got delayed. I think they moved it to September after all the writers shit that was going through, and now it's to February 2025.
Valentine's Day.
Come on.
Which I think is great.
It's interesting. I like it.
If you give your lover your heart and you stake it, that's Blade. I'm in. I actually really like. If you're gonna postpone it to any date, that's a great date for a vampire movie.
And I got a feeling I don't think that's going to meet its date either.
You don't think so?
I don't. I have no idea.
I'm going to be bummed out if they lose Valentine's Day. I think that is a great Valentine's
I'm
Day.
sure they'll try to push it, but we knew it was going to be delayed. Big. This was supposed to come out. Wasn't it come out this year originally?
No, it's supposed to come out. I think next year.
It was
the
next year.
earliest
Okay,
before they got pushed back to 25. Okay. Right.
And that, yeah, okay, so yeah, so that's whatever. Fantastic Four for that which had the Valentine slot. Speaking of which, now it's down to May 2nd. So again, not a huge delay.
The kickoff summer movie. That's a great place where it should be.
No, right.
If you can't do it in April, put it in May.
No, right. Absolutely, exactly. And then the big ones here were the Avengers Kang Dynasty, moved back a year, and Secret Wars again a year. Right, for May 2025, May 2026, Avengers Secret Wars, May 2026 to May 2027. And
there's a rumor that Secret Wars is going to be a two-parter.
I really hope not, because they haven't gotten anything right about these films in a while. Because even looking at this schedule, because I don't know what's going to. I mean, because we got 2024 filled, right?
Right.
2025 we only got 2 movies, Blade and Fantastic Four.
So far,
I'm sure they may. Well, who knows? Maybe Spider-Man's in there. I don't know what the hell is going on. I don't think they do either. But I mean, I think that's good that they're moving away because it gives me a chance. I think part of it is a lot of delays, but let's be honest, Jonathan Majors has to be a factor in this.
Oh, huge factor.
Right? I mean, let's be clear, right? They don't know what's going on. Maybe let's just push it out and see what happens, and we'll recalibrate once that all gets sorted out.
Recalibrate, recast,
or whatever,
structure, right. Whatever it is.
Exactly. Yeah, maybe they don't recast, they do something. Whatever it is, fine, right? So, whatever. But at the same token, I just listen. Let's look at next year, right? This year we said the Marvels. I don't think the Marvels has any big picture implications. I really don't.
I think it might have a cool after credit scene at best.
Something, but whatever for the most part. But next year, Deadpool, no. Captain America.
Deadpool's gonna be a big one.
I mean, a big movie
for the multiverse.
That's gonna be its own. This is gonna be Guardians 3.
I disagree.
Guardians
I think it's gonna be a big multiverse one.
Absolutely not. This is being written at a time. This movie is being written at a time where they have no fucking clue who it's gonna be. That they even gonna have Kang as the main bad.
Oh, but you don't make Kang the big bad.
No, I know, but I'm saying, but this movie was written before they knew they wanted Jonathan Majors to be Kang for Kang Dynasty.
But I thought they did rewrites to it anyway. Once they did know, they adjusted it to be that.
Deadpool was his own thing. Deadpool's his own thing. That's like guarantee his own thing. Guaranteed. Which is great. I don't want this version that are put in the MCU anyway. It lowers its property value. Come on, stop. Captain America, 0 to do with anything with Kang.
Yeah, I agree.
Thunderbolts, 0 to do with anything with Kang. Blade, 0 to do with anything with Kang. The only one is Fantastic Four. So we got one movie, and then they're gonna spring us off to. So it's still the same problem, right?
Do you have any else? What series are gonna be out there? Because if they do it,
we got Daredevil, nothing. We know that. Echo.
Okay. Oh, Echo's nothing, obviously. But like Agatha, House of Harkness, that might have something. House of Chaos, that might be.
Nah, 0. What else is coming out? I think that's all the shows they announced so far, right? Was those maybe Loki 2 is already coming out. There's no one.
Well, Loki 2, right? Loki 2 is going to be
Loki 2 might be the only one, but who knows what they do with Jonathan Majors in that role? I don't know. Maybe you get who knows, right? Yeah. I don't know because he filmed his scenes, but it's very dicey. It's very dicey.
Can minimize that.
right. So who knows? But so there's not a lot there. I mean, because they have. Fantastic Four is the only one I could definitely for sure say, okay, this is gonna lead us into or part of this whatever big baddie, whatever thing they're building up to. That's gonna be part of it. The only one I can say for sure.
If it's one thing that both the Spider-Verse and the Flash, which we'll get into later on, has taught us, is that one movie with a good explanation of the multiverse can do the work of 3 bad movies, slightly talking about the multiverse. And
what depends because Fantastic Four, it's an origin thing. It has to be.
I think you're gonna be surprised how they double back the origin to the concept of the multiverse.
Maybe.
I think Deadpool and Fantastic Four and Loki are gonna be the multiverse projects that we're gonna be surprised about how much heavy lifting they do for everybody.
Loki, yes. Deadpool, not a chance in hell. And I guess the only one is this one.
We'll
I mean,
see.
they have other movies they gotta make, but what they're gonna make Spider-Man? No. Particularly if this is gonna be Tom Holland's last, as he's alluding to, then no, right? So,
right. Because
okay.
to be fair, also Spider-Man's already had his multiverse movie,
right?
So we're done with that.
Right. That's what I'm saying. They can, if this is his last one, he's a send-off, so it's not gonna be setting anything up, right?
Right.
So it's not, as I'm saying. I foresee this getting delayed again, dude.
I disagree. I disagree.
Really
I think.
do.
I
Particularly
not
if
disagree
majors.
with the delays. I disagree with the context of anything else. Just the Deadpool movie. I think Deadpool's gonna be the surprising third multiverse installment that you're not aware of. That's what I think.
But
only because
I'll say this.
You're getting the Fox multiverse. You're dealing with that whole universe coming to
it's
Marvel. So you're gonna have to deal with that. It's there.
It's there, but they're gonna. It's not that kind of movie, dude. You forget have you seen Deadpool? This is not gonna carry over. They're gonna use that multiverse to say, "Oh, look, we do it too," and it's very meta, and we're gonna laugh at they're not doing anything. First of all, MCU can't get the multiverse right. So you tell me they're gonna do more of it? That shouldn't get anybody excited. That shouldn't get zero people excited.
Let's
be clear.
I want to bring this up. I want to bring this up when we get to Flash, because I feel like there is a biasness of what qualifies as a good multiverse movie, and I want to bring that up to you when we get to Flash.
That's fine. For me, a good multiverse is give us something good in multiverse. It's that simple, and Marvel has proven to do that with the greatest incompetence. Let's just be honest. They have. It's been awful. So you tell me Deadpool, fine. They're gonna make fun of it. That has no confidence. Fantastic Four, I seriously doubt they're gonna step anything up but those characters and maybe a baddie coming up, and that's it, dude. I mean, let's be clear. So I don't see him doing. I don't see how this can's gonna work. I really don't.
I think you're. And because you don't see it, I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised.
And we got a year between Fantastic Four and Avengers and Kang Dynasty. 1 year, which means two, maybe 3 films, maybe.
Right.
That's not a lot either, dude. That's not a lot. Maybe Shang-Chi.
Yeah, I was about to say there's a Shang-Chi movie too that does with time or something like that. I guess
maybe. So you see what I'm saying? It's been botched. This whole thing's been botched. This phase has been terrible. It isn't really bad in terms of what they're trying to accomplish long term. I say just delay it 2 or 3 years, bro. More. Build it up. This is your chance to build it up. It really is.
I think they're going to, but I think they're going to build things up in a way that you did not expect. They can merge 2 concepts together to kind of get to where they want to, and it's gonna be one of those like, I didn't see that coming, and I'm happy they did that. I think that's what's gonna happen, and I think Deadpool's gonna do a lot of work that you would not expect it to do. That's what I think. That's just
Deadpool's gonna have multiverse stuff in it. There's no question about it, right? But it's not setting up anything. It's gonna be its own thing.
I think it's just gonna give you a better understanding of the multiverse. Is what it's gonna do.
Not even. Nope. Not a chance.
That's what
this is a way to just bring us back Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart. We heard rumors about Halle Berry, and they're gonna make fun of him. Oh, hey, we can do it too. Look at us, multiverse. Just to do
and don't forget, there's also Beyond the Spider-Verse, another multiverse movie. So I think there's going to be a lot of stuff that we are not even considering.
That has zero to do. They're not doing multiverse in the Spider-Man 4, and multiverse is nothing to do with MCU. That is a pure Sony project. That is theirs.
But it's no, because they said they worked with Marvel to construct the multiverse aspect of the movie.
Their movie. It has nothing to do with the MCU. Nothing. Zero. They can consult. Congratulations. Nothing to do it. They're only setting up their world for their Sony property.
They literally used the design of the multiverse spiral tree and then built the web of Death's Life and Destiny on top.
Let's not make it seem that's the only time we've seen that design, first and foremost. Number 2, again, this is Marvel has imprint on the Tom Holland versions of it. They have nothing, zero to do with the multiverse. It's no tie-ins. Don't get it twisted like, oh, they're going to bring in 1,000 span. That's never going to happen in a million years. This is Sony's baby. They're not going to get this one up to Marvel. It's not going to happen. Zero. Guaranteed. Not gonna,
all right.
This is their stuff. They're doing their own thing. They're going to do Craven. That's their world. They're not going to mix and match. They're not doing it. It was cute and had a little Tom Hardy thing, which ended up being nothing. Nonsense. Oh, nonsense. So that's what it is. So
well, it wasn't nothing because they showed up in Spider-Verse. So
yeah, but that's Sony's property.
Right. Right.
That's what I'm saying. That's their
Okay.
shit. They can fuck with it, but not the MCU.
Right.
The
Okay.
MCU was nonsense because they use it in a movie which is it's still owned by Sony, right? The
Right.
Spider-Man. It's still their property. It's still there. They can do whatever they want with that film, distribute it how they wish, and they flip half the bill. But yeah, so we'll see. It's just still concerning. There's nothing here that's really like, okay, I think Deadpool's gonna be great, but it's gonna be Guardians 3, its own thing, which is fine as long as they can build. But if you can't build up, because Captain America, who cares about Captain America?
I mean, I kind of do. I
don't care. Who cares? Let's be honest.
I mean, Harrison Ford as a Red Hulk.
I'm not saying it's not going to be good. I'm just saying, who cares, right? And if it's great, that's fine. But until then, it's still who cares. Nobody cares. Thunderbolts, really? Nobody cares. People don't know who the Thunderbolts are. Let's be honest. No one knows who they are.
I do. I know the Thunderbolts are.
That's great, guys. So that's one person out of that tens of millions that go.
Thunderbolts has a following.
The casual fans that go see them, we have no idea who they are. They haven't seen Captain America.
The Thunderbolts has to get played like the Suicide Squad. You're not supposed to know who they are, but you got to learn to love them, and that's the whole point.
Ooh, they know some of the characters. No one knows those characters to begin with. No one loved the stupid phase girl from Ant-Man. No one knows who the fuck she is. Who cares?
They'll vaguely remember. They'll know Hopper. They'll know Black Widow.
Yeah, the Black Widow, which a lot of people saw and he was not good.
They'll know U.S. Agent.
Yeah. Those Disney Plus shows aren't watched by the casual fans. I've been telling you for a long time. They don't watch it. They don't know who he is. They don't know who they are. That's what I'm telling you. Nobody watched Black Widow.
Obviously,
they didn't like it. Nobody watched Captain America. Anything on TV and Disney, only the true hardcore fans, a few casual watch. Those numbers they draw, 1.2 million, that's peanuts. Peanuts. 1.2 million, you're looking at what, $10 a ticket? You're looking at about $12 million in box office. These movies make 60, 70, 80, 100. So that means...
Well, that's because you're also thinking of like a household that like 4 people can watch that just at one.
Fine. We'll quadruple it to $36 million. Box office, which is nonsense. So the other 70 or 80 that it makes is the casual fans who have no idea what this shit is, which I've been saying from the beginning. There's a reason why these movies have been underperforming. They just have. No one's caring anymore. Even DC's been underperforming. Marvel's been underperforming. They just have. The numbers don't lie. It is what it is, right? Ant-Man didn't even make 500 million.
Yeah, that was a shock.
That's not good. I mean, that's not good, right? I think it was the lowest out of the 3, or maybe around the same amount. That's not good for a movie that's setting up, Kang and all this crap. So I'm just saying, but that being said, let's talk about a movie which I hope people do see, and I want people to see. Flash, a movie we saw about a month ago. We both liked it, enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun. I thought it was one of the best, maybe the best DCEU film. Let me clarify that.
As I said before, this movie made the entire Snyderverse almost worth it. Almost.
But yeah,
still wasn't, but it's almost worth it.
Right. I think it was a good closure to that Snyderverse or whatever you want to call it, and ending it on a high note. More importantly, right? In a note that okay, more palatable. Oh yeah, this is what they should have been doing, from the beginning, right? Yep. Give us something fun, exciting, entertaining, and it had the good humor. Everything really clicked well in this film. I'm going to see it again because we saw the uncut version.
Right. There's a new re-edit.
Right. Yeah, re-edit, and there's some stuff I'm going to spoil. I haven't heard specifically what it is. I know there's some things that they've added. Besides just the end credit scene, some things, and maybe another cameo or whatever. But for the most part, the film is, I think, very similar to what you and I saw. I'm pretty sure.
Like I said, about 80% of it is still the same.
Right. So I'm good. I'm excited. So I'm looking forward to seeing some new shit, and whatever the case is. I'm looking forward to a lot. I had a chance to see it like a couple of times. I was waiting because taking the family. It's like, let me just wait till,
And I will say, since they announced that the director Machete is going to be directing the new Batman Brave and the Bold, I'm very excited because one of the things I said about this movie, I love the way they made Batman move in this movie. I want all Batman movies to fluidly, physically move like this, and having him at the helm guarantees that. I think that, honestly, when you watch the movie, when you see the way Batman moves, you're like, oh, that's how his Batman's going to move? Yeah, do that, because I want him to move like a super ninja. Yeah, that's great.
And what his son, right? Is that the other one? His son, right? the Batman's son, or
Damien's son, Damien, right?
That's his son, right? Am I right?
In the comics, the new Robin is the current Robin is Damien, which is his son, which is going to be the Robin in the movie.
Okay, yeah, I just wasn't sure. Okay, so it is Batman's son. Okay, so yeah, so that's good news on this side. But yeah, you're right. We can start there, man. Fuck it, Keaton, right? Keaton was the draw. We were talking about Keaton for God knows how long on this show, right? And there was all these issues and stuff, and the COVID hit, and he wasn't gonna do it, and which would have been a disaster. Keaton was great, dude. I love seeing him back. I mean, come on.
I told you,
Jesus.
It takes about 15 to 20 minutes to get past the Ezra Miller of it all, and of course, 15, 20 minutes is roughly around the time where the idea of Batman is introduced, and then you see Keaton like on the 25-minute mark. And from that point on, the movie's just great. It's really great.
Yeah.
But I will say, as great as it is, I do think Spider-Verse is better.
No, Spider-Verse is better.
Flash.
There's no question. Yeah, there's no question.
But
there's no argument there.
It's a really fun movie. And I will say, if you have an affinity to Michael Keaton, as we clearly do, we will put it at a higher level. People who have no affinity to Michael Keaton will still like it, but I don't know if they're going to like it as much as we did.
Very fair point, right? Again, the casual. I mean, again, the older folks, those in your late 30s and 40s. I mean, come on.
Sure.
See Michael Keaton doing. They had even the same theme music going on at times. Danny Elfman scored from the original Batman, which is very cool.
Doing the basic quotes. You guys want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. Like all that.
Yeah, all that stuff. It was a lot of like winks to the audience. All that. Yeah, which is great. We knew it was coming. That worked really well.
A little bit of a spoiler alert. One of my favorite scenes that's a pull to the original Batman, 1989 Batman, is while in the Batcave, the Flashes find the Joker's little laugh box. One of the best laugh call Easter egg references. I was so happy they had that. I like that to me was like a great Easter egg for like, it's one of those, if you know, you know, and that's a great
That's really cool. We're gonna do some, not say heavy spoilers, but we're all gonna mention stuff, some plot points and stuff like that. Just to be fair, you guys have been warned. But I mean, so yeah, he was great. Supergirl, Sasha Calle, part Colombian, so I'm all for that. I thought she was really good. I really did. I thought she was great. I liked the character. She kicked ass. She looked like the role, played the role well, and obviously I don't think they're gonna use it moving forward.
Yeah, unfortunately,
but I think she was good enough to be used.
Yeah,
continue, right? For if they wouldn't do that character, she was really good. I liked her a lot. How they kind of brought her into the story and all that. She, obviously she was. I think she was looking for Kal-El, if I'm not mistaken.
She was sent to take care of Kal-El, and then they reveal, spoiler alert, but they reveal in the movie that Kal-El had been killed by Zod, which I thought was a cool twist.
Oh,
I thought that was a cool twist.
Yeah, like that's right. I forgot about that when they tied in. Obviously. Michael Shannon's version of Zod, of course.
Right.
Well, I really liked him in Man of Steel. Thought he was great. Ezra Miller was good too. Let's be fair. All issues aside, right? I'm just looking at the performance, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
He was very good as the Flash.
Here's the thing I will say about his performance of Flash. Since he was playing two Barry Allens, and he had to do one scene to like another actor or to a nobody, and then he got to do the opposite scene. He really nailed both performances, and the CG quality of making them look like two people together was very impressive. At no point was I taken out going, "Oh, that's like a split screen," or that's like it felt like it was all done naturally, which is impossible. Which is why those shots are so impressive. But on the flip side, I did have not a lot of issues, but there were serious chunks in the movie which the CG looked bad.
The CG was very inconsistent.
That if you want to talk about pulling yourself out of a reason in a movie, CG that looks great and then other looks a little off, it'll be like it throws you off. Either have it all look bad, or that's the one thing I will say about Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. There was a consistent level of CG for 90% of it, good or bad. It was consistent.
Yes, Fair enough. I'll give you that. It was consistently bad, but it was consistent, so I'll give you
Yeah,
that.
it was
So it's not as jarring. It's all shitty or it's all good.
right.
And that's totally fair. Yeah, I agree. I'm 100% with you that the CG wasn't great. I don't know if that improved. I don't think it did. I heard it didn't improve on
I
this
heard it didn't either.
finished cut. So,
but it makes me
what?
feel like the reason why it didn't look that great is because either that was a choice that just didn't work, or they put so much CG effects in the dual Barrys and Batman fluidity that they just made that because they focused so much on that, they kind of pulled away from the other.
The budget, the budget stretches thin. Who knows? But yeah, that's one of a few negatives about the film is that
Right.
in terms of a technical sense.
Right.
But all the actors Barry worked. They all worked. I think wasn't Barry's mom Brazilian.
She was Brazilian,
yeah,
which made me both happy and sad. I'm like, oh, a Brazilian mom to a complicated character actor. Oh man, like it was hard for me to see that. That's that I feel like how most Mexican people feel about Namor right now. It's like, yo,
fair enough. But yeah, so listen, they got some Latino representation in the film across the board. So I'm always for
it's
that.
the association that's a problem.
Right, it is what it is. Right.
The performance is good. It's fun,
yeah,
and she's got a nice little monologue at the end that was really sweet and endearing.
It really was. I liked. Since we're on the subject, yeah, the emotional point hit. Right, that was the big key.
It did.
Right? If that didn't hit, this movie would not have worked. But it hit at the end, and it really tied things up well. It's an emotional scene. It really worked with him and his mom and all that. And I thought that was really good. And again, Ezra sold that.
Yeah,
he sold it.
Absolutely,
I mean, it's good credit where credit's due. I mean, yeah. I mean, I know people were on and off with him in Justice League, but here it's a different kind of Barry, I think, personally.
Yeah.
And
it's weird. It's like crappy people tend to be potentially crappy people tend to be really good actors, almost like they can fool us with their false emotions. Weird.
Go figure. Food for thought. But yeah. I mean, and well, I don't want to spoil this part, but well, Machete spoiled one part, so we'll talk about that, right?
Sure.
You can see it's already out there, right? If you haven't heard, this is a big spoiler.
Big spoiler.
Towards the end of the film, things are wrapping up the third act. You got a lot of cameos, a lot of nods to those who are DC fans for years, right? You got all these versions of these
OGs, if you will,
and all, which is very cool. I liked how they did that, but they dug deep with this Nicolas Cage Superman, which I never in 1,000 years would have guessed they would have done that, right? Even as they were showing these Supermans, I'm like, I never. Nicolas Cage just came out of nowhere. I was like, wow.
I'm sorry, when I saw a long-haired Superman from the back fighting a giant robot spider.
Once they showed it, I was like,
I was like, they got the cage. And then you see him. I like that.
That was brilliant. That was absolute genius.
Yeah.
And and those who were in the know, because obviously this is the old. I think it was it George Romero? No, George Miller. Sorry. With the Mad Max, he was actually going to do the Superman film back in.
He was going to do a Justice League movie.
Justice League, and this is back in late '90s, I think. Whatever the case is.
No, it was going to be the early 2000s, like 2002,
okay,
2005.
It was around that time. Whatever, exactly.
And by the way, just to let you know how crazy that would have been, Arnie Hammer was supposed to be Batman,
which at the time would have been a good idea.
Well, at the time, but now,
right, obviously that wouldn't have aged too well. Clearly. It's all these actors. But I mean, yeah. So he was, and they had cast Nicolas Cage. There's test screenings, with him with the long hair and his suit. This is a legit film about to be made, and the whole idea of the spider was gonna be, he's gonna fight the spider, which is funny enough. They ended up using in Wild Wild West.
With the same producer who wanted the spider from back then.
Exactly. So they just use it for here, it was a bad idea in both movies, to be honest with you. It would have been a bad day, Superman, but. So to bring that back and not nod to that, like even that deep cut, if you're a DC fan, like not a lot of people know that. I don't think a lot of people know that.
Yeah.
Right. And the casual fan may be like, I don't think the casual fan would be like, it doesn't think it's Nicolas Cage. I think it's funny. Like, but they don't know the meaning behind seeing him as that was genius. I love.
But once again, that to me is a pull like. The Joker's laughing back. It's like, if you know, you know.
Exactly. The difference between that one and this one, at least that one, they'll see Nicolas Cage and think it's,
right.
Cool. I mean, you're doing a cameo. Fair enough, right? But that was brilliant. I love that part. I never at 1,000 years expected that. So good for them. That was a good sneaky move on that part. Yeah. So it wasn't CGI. It was actually Nicolas Cage, doing that part, which is even better. But no, yeah, I mean, everything really worked, man. It just came well together. Love the story in this one, and their explanation of what's going on with the time travel, right, and how it
their explanation of
how they
multiverse
conceptualize
was a lot of fun and very easy to grasp.
right, easy to
Very
grasp and done in a very cool way. I think, excuse me, I think Michael Keaton was the one that he did the exposition on that, if I'm not mistaken.
He did, yeah, that was him doing it.
Using interesting instrumentation. I'll say that. As far as how what he used to explain it with the food.
You say instruments, I say edibleness.
There you go. That's a better word. But that was really cool. So I really liked that. Everything really came. This could have been a mess, right? It just could have been a mess. So it's a disaster. So they did it really well. Everything made sense. It fit together well, and a lot of humor, a lot of cool, like Back to the Future jokes, which again, very deep.
By the way,
cuts. I won't spoil that part, but the deep.
I gotta give a shout out to another unsung hero about this movie, Ben Affleck as Batman.
Yes, you're right. We forget about that. Yeah, agreed.
Very unsung, and I'll tell you what, he's come on an interview saying, "I'm bummed out. I'm not going to do Batman anymore because I feel like I finally figured out how to be this Batman."
Yeah.
And one thing I noticed, and when you watch it again, see if you pick it up, his Batman kind of sounds like Kevin Conroy.
Oh, I'll look out for that. I didn't pick up on. I wasn't even thinking about that, but maybe you're right. So I'll listen to,
especially if you see some of the early trailers where when the Flash in his suit and he's like, "Barry, I need you." Like it sounds like Kevin Conroy Batman, and when he says, "I think I figured out," I think he figured out like, "Oh, when I'm Batman, I'm Kevin Conroy Batman, and when I'm Bruce Wayne, I'm bummed out Ben Affleck." And it works. I'm telling you, it works.
And it's a shame because I liked him from the beginning as Batman.
Yeah, ever since Batman v Superman, we said that was the only good part of that movie was Ben Affleck's Batman.
Right, I thought it was great, and it worked. And it's just a shame that whatever. But again, Zack Snyder casted, right? Let's go back. Let's give credit where credit's due, right?
Yeah.
He brought him on. It was his decision, so it's not all shit with that what he did, but. He was cool. I think he's 15 minutes in the movie, 10 minutes in the movie. The first opening sequence is
just the first act.
Right, but it's a cool setup. It's a cool little action scene. I'll say, a Justice League member shows up. I'll leave it at that.
Sure.
I think that's still. I heard that scene was cut. That's what I heard.
I heard
before we watched it, and I was surprised to see that scene. I was gonna say it wasn't cut, so I don't know if it was cut or not from this.
I heard that part made it through.
Okay, good. That's good. Because that's a cool scene.
Because we heard that might be one of the parts that got cut. And we're like, how is this whole scene going to work with that cut? Because
how they're going to put it together, I don't know. So I'm glad they kept that in there if indeed they did. So
that I heard is kept in. Okay, it's other stuff that they changed in the back end. It's mostly third act changes. Third act and after credit scenes.
Okay, that's what's been changed. What I figured. Right. So a couple new cameos and whatever. But yeah, everything really came together really well, man. It was legitimately funny. It wasn't cheesy funny. It wasn't for the sake of making laughs. It was good humor used well.
Here's what I was going to tell you before you talk about it.
Excuse me.
We gave so much crap to Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness because they only showed 3 realities. They showed you the main Marvel Cinematic Universe reality. You saw the Illuminati reality, and then you saw the dead reality where the evil Doctor Strange, and then you had that montage scene, right? But 3 multiverses. And your big complaint, if I remember completely, is like, oh, it's a multiverse of madness, but you're gonna see like 1, technically 2 multiverses, and it's a big complaint. Now we talked about Flash being a good multiverse movie, and you only see 2 multiverses. We don't see a lot, but you reference visually others, but there's only one other really multiverse world. But then, wait. And then you get into the Spider-Verse, only 3 multiverses. You get Miles' home universe, you get the Spider-Man India multiverse, and you get New York multiverse. Oh, 4. And you get Earth 42 multiverse. So that's 4. So my Spider-Verse has the most multiverses, 4. Flash has 2, technically, but like homages to other stuff. And Multiverse of Madness has 3, yet we're giving Multiverse of Madness the most, like, you're not doing anything. We're really not getting a lot of multiverses anywhere except for Spider-Verse. But yet we will give Flash credit. I feel like he gets a bum rap.
I'll say this. I think 2 things to that, right? To be fair.
All right.
one is expectations, right? Because
Sure.
this is not called Flash: The Multiverse of Madness, right?
Fair.
Right. I'm just so the expectation with
Oh,
Doctor
fair.
Strange
Yeah,
was
fair.
right,
Yeah.
and I said Flash was kind of multiverse. It's more time travel than multiverse per
Yeah.
se, right? To be
the
fair,
back end
right?
it becomes multiverse.
Right,
The
but
front is time travel.
exactly, they
The
weren't
back
trying
is
to push it like multiverse, like Spider Verse. Obviously, that was the whole crux
Right.
crux of the movie was the whole multiverse, the first one and now, right? And they did it great. I mean, because they didn't give us 1,000 worlds, but they gave us time in these worlds and characters
Right.
from other. So that's what I think why they did so well. Flash was not exactly multiverse,
Right.
per se, so it's kind of in the middle, right? But it handled it well for what it
Right.
did.
Right.
For what
Right.
it did. Doctor Strange is, again, for me, the expectation was Multiverse of Madness. That's their title of the film. This is what we're gonna do. We'll do, and then we get zilch almost, right? And that was the big complaint with that. But yeah, all the way. But this is not a true multiverse film. It's not. Even from the beginning, I said it's more time travel with.
Well, what I said, Flash is unique about the deal because they start off as a time travel,
right? It
and
kind
then
of
delve into
right,
a multiverse,
exactly,
which is unexpected,
which
but
is cool,
fun, but
right.
complicated.
Exactly, but and they didn't because they could have gone. Like I said, they could have done really bad. It could have gone sideways very quickly in this film. It really could, right?
And the fact that
too
you
overcomplicated.
are on board the whole time through understanding what's happening is a testament to how tight that story script is.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
It could have, like I said, it could have just gone like what, and it'd be a bunch of gobbledygook in your brain.
Yeah, a bunch of MacGuffins and this and that.
It kept you like, these are the rules. This is it. Nothing's changed. Where they just take it like that.
The
because it's remained consistent. It was impressive.
The characters weren't wasted. It wasn't, Michael Keaton just appeared because he had a legitimate role and he was instrumental to the story, as was
very much so.
Supergirl as well. It made sense. Even though it turned to Zod, that made sense because they set up.
Yeah.
Because I think they even mentioned in the beginning where Barry Allen was just beginning to be Flash when the whole sequence occurred when they had the terror of things, whatever, when they're trying to destroy New York and the planet really was on. So he was actually in New York then at that time. Well, not New York.
Right, which is a fun little
Metropolis, I'm sorry.
To that story.
Right, exactly. So he was actually there and some things he couldn't. So that was a cool. I love that tie-in, right? Sure. Batman v Superman did that, and I'll say they did it pretty well with Bruce Wayne. That was a cool scene in the beginning.
Which, if anything, just goes to show you how instrumental Man of Steel is.
Oh no!
Because in Man of Steel, you got Batman v Superman and the Flash all there. Going back to that one moment.
Yeah, absolutely right. That was, which is cool. That's what. So I'm glad they did that here, and it made sense, right? It just wasn't. Let's just do it because it's Man of Steel. It all makes sense, and I like it's good writing. Muschietti was great.
It's one of the reasons why Endgame works so well, because you got to revisit all those things from movies, whether you liked them or not. Thor: The Dark World. You got to revisit those movies, and it became more. It became more towards the than the original value of the movie. This movie gave that more value.
To get a different perspective in some of these movies, right? Because even in Batman v Superman, you got Bruce Wayne's perspective and how it affected him with what happened to destruction, and now you got Flash's point of view. It's like, this is what happened when I was there, what I couldn't do. That was really cool. So I love that. Yeah. The story came out really tight. That was a really tight story. And I'm surprised the reviews aren't as good as I thought they would have been. Very surprised, to be honest with you. Okay, fair enough. I think it was like a 72 last time I checked. It's good.
Okay.
But I thought it should have been in the 80s. I think, and that goes back to, I think we had you had a 90, I had an 87. So it's like, I thought I was gonna lose that one, but actually, I didn't want to win.
Might win, son of a.
And then but then again, so did Guardians, which surprised as well. Guardians got an 82. It's a good number, but I would expect it to be higher based on what we thought about the film. So that's odd. But I think if you're a DC fan, guaranteed.
Easy.
If you like Snyderverse,
if you're a DC fan, even if you're just a Snyderverse fan, you're still gonna like.
Oh, no, if you're a Snyderverse fan, you're gonna like this movie. Like this, I can't see a scenario where you like Snyder and don't like this. I really don't. Not because
this movie at no point craps on Snyderverse. It just moves on from it. But at no point is it crap on it.
This elevates.
Is what I would have done. Is crapped all.
No,
over.
I agreed. And it's not like, oh, when I erase everything, it's meaningless. This elevated what we saw before.
Yeah.
Right, for Man of Steel, but Superman, whatever, it elevates the whole material. So I think it paid great homage and respect.
Absolutely.
Whether it's deserved or not, different discussion. But it gave respect to what came before really well. So I like that. So if you like Snyderverse, guarantee like. You like DC, guarantee like. If you're just a casual fan, I think most people are going to enjoy it. I really do.
I think most people will enjoy it.
Fun, so fun, entertaining, colorful, and
Yeah.
stuff we hadn't gotten much. Like in the same way Shazam was. I thought this was better than Shazam, but Shazam was very colorful, fun, entertaining, lighthearted. All this has all that, but it has a different. The scale is much higher in this movie than Shazam.
Exactly.
But yeah, in that vein. So I don't. So surprised with again, that's the critics, and it is what it is. But I'd be shocked if the fans don't enjoy it. I don't think it's gonna do great money. I don't know, because it's still DC.
If it does 500,000, you're 500 million. I think you're good.
I think so. It's possible. I know it's got 2 weeks before Indiana Jones. Not that Indiana Jones is going to rip it up based on the early projections.
It might be people don't like it, go back to going to Flash.
Yeah, so they got 2 weekends. It's not 2 weekends. I mean, Elemental's coming up. It's different. Well, it shows some of the same demographic.
I think different dynamic elementals to this. It's not going to be.
But they can, I'll see one this week and one next week. Or, I'll see Elemental then Flash or vice versa. So with 2 weekends that, I hope make some money. Whatever. I don't expect this to be a sequel at any point to this film. I don't think Ezra's
no, this movie has no sequel.
Yeah, I know. Muschietti talked about, only Ezra Miller can play this character. Relax. He's not.
That's what you say to get people to watch the movie, so you don't tell them he's never coming back.
Exactly. That's lip service. I mean, he may, he did a really good job. Both of them did. So he may mean that, but yeah, it's not gonna happen. But yeah, you're right. If Muschietti goes on Batman,
Batman, Brave and the Bold.
Great. Because he did a good job, man. He earned it. He's earned his spot.
He really did.
He earned his spot.
Because you saw he could handle 2 Batmans and look great.
Oh, that's true. 2 Batmans, a Flash, and some other characters. Good for him, dude. Yeah, whatever is keep him on the lock and key, dude. Don't let this guy go.
I would have liked to see him, like I said, I would have liked to see him in the Authority, but Batman is a great secondary option.
Of course, anything. If he's, whatever it is, I'm all for now.
Yeah,
he's proven. I mean, I liked it. I liked it. First one was great. Second one's good. Now with this, okay. There you go. Now I'm excited. But yeah, he did a great job with this. A lot of adversity, to say least. And so I'm sure they were meddling his movie, a lot of reshoots that they were trying to make him do. So I'm sure this wasn't easy to accomplish. And he did it so well.
Yeah, he made it look effortless, which is exactly the sign of a great director, is when nothing looked like it was an issue.
Exactly.
Even though you could know there were tons of
issues with DC, Warner, whatever, Ezra Miller, reshoot delays. Like this movie is supposed to come out 2 years ago, I guess, and whatever. It's just a disaster. You're right. To pull this out of the hat like that, wow, bravo.
It's even more like people won't give him as much. Hollywood insiders will give him all the credit in the world for this.
Agreed. Yeah.
Regular people just go, well, that was a good movie, and that's perfect. Because that's the ultimate. If they don't realize all the insanity it took to just do it, to go, that was a fun movie. That's the sign of you are a go-to guy now.
No excuses. He took it in the chin and gave us something. Great story. And I'm glad this could have gone sideways. So I'm glad. So yeah, absolutely, it's a high recommend from both of us, I assume.
Absolutely,
high recommend. You guys should definitely see it. No doubt about it. And it kind of sucks because I wouldn't have mind seeing this version of Flash continue based off this film. I mean, take all the issues outside of stuff notwithstanding, right? Let's assume he hadn't gotten involved with whatever the fuck happened, right? And let's assume this movie came out and we're gonna keep him as Flash. Okay, I will have no problem with that, to be honest.
You're right, but because all that happened, this is the last one.
At this point, it's a wrap. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying it's done. He's done, which kind of sucked. Because again, he was really good.
He's very good.
Get credit or credit is due. Listen, separate the art from the artist, right? There's a lot of shitty people in Hollywood. Let's not make it seem that it's just Ezra Miller. Come on. Let Jonathan Majors we can shit on. We cannot shit on. Tag it. So that's MCU's problem. So that's good. So yeah. So that being said, that's the Nuggets for the week,
guys. That has been the show. Thanks so much for tuning in. We appreciate all the love you guys are giving us. Don't forget to like and subscribe here on the YouTube, on the Latin Nerd Network, as well. You can watch other shows as The Watch List, as Thanos' Choice, and other shows we have coming up as well. If you want to follow us on the social medias, you can go to @NerdsplainingPod on Instagram, @Nerdsplaining_ on Twitter. You can go to ericdasilva.com, ERICDASILVA, to listen to all the original audio episodes we got there for free as well. And while you're there, don't forget to pick up my album, Adorably Offensive. It is a great album gift to give to someone you like. So if you don't like, summer's up. If you're going to go to the beach or go camping and want to laugh, It's a great album. Trust me, even the animals in the forest or in the ocean are going to enjoy it. Don't quote me on that. Also, don't forget to check out my comic book Danger Squad that's in development right now. We have a website there. We got some big news coming up in the next couple of weeks, so please stay tuned for that as well. And guys, as always, don't forget to tell your friends about the show. Let us know what you liked about it. Let us know what you don't like about it, and we'll talk about it in the next episode as well. As always, guys, I have been Eric Da Silva. This has been Jose Romero. We have been Nerdsplaining. And if you don't know, now you know. Peace. Boom.